Hey, Vsauce. Adam here. And this is a stupid bit. What are wisdom-based casters? Okay, that was literally the only idea I had for the video, and now I have to freehand it. So, fundamentally, wisdom-based casters are, well, complicated. A lot more complicated than the intelligence-based casters, even more complicated than the charisma-based casters. That's why I was thinking of doing this last, but, I went in order by stats. But, as someone who plays a shit ton of clerics, I can't really explain them. They're hard to explain. So let's start with the easy one, which is druids. Now, druids are the easiest ones by far. But there we go. Druids are the easiest casters to explain by far, more than any other caster, really. Because wisdom is your instinct. Everything around you, surrounding you, your ability to perceive things, your insight, your knowledge that does not come from books, but your innate knowledge. Something coming from, say, nature. That's why druids are wisdom-based. It's, in my opinion, it's the simplest to explain out of any caster. I started playing a druid last night. It's gonna be a spore druid. Somehow he managed to lie and pretend that our knight in the party was the emperor. How he did that, I don't know. Guidance plus proficiency in deception with a 14 charisma. That helps. Anyway. So yeah, druids are very simple to explain. And again, I think a lot of you have probably heard this before. The reason druids get so many fire-based spells is not because they are protectors of nature, but it is because they are nature. They are the wind, they are the water, they are the fire, they are the trees, they are the grass. And sometimes fire is good for nature. Now, rangers are a bit different. Rangers... Oh God, my hair looks so bad. I should have combed it first. That's fine. Rangers are protectors of nature. They are not nature. They are protectors of it. And that's why rangers don't get nearly as many fire-based spells compared to druids. Their magic is almost something you could describe as non-magical things a lot of the time. Like Swift Quiver, you could easily just describe that as like a second wind or an action surge over a long period of time, and you can only do that once a day. Or just Hunter's Mark can just be you settling your focus, something you can only do so many times a day, only for so long. I don't know, Cure Wounds can just be you quickly putting on bandages and herbs and picking stuff up like that. I mean, you could argue that's what the healer feat is supposed to be for, but ignore that. You can almost describe every ranger spell as a non-magic effect, and I think that's kind of the point, because when you think of rangers, you think of like Aragorn from Lord of the Rings, who did not use magic. Legolas is not a ranger. Legolas is a fighter with a bow. But yeah, also probably has like a level or two into rogue. Gimli's the fighter. Yeah, so that's rangers. The biggest thing that confuses me is like they can't, unlike paladins, they can't change their spells out every day, which I think is weird and dumb. And if I'm running anytime soon and I have a ranger, I'm gonna say, yeah, you're preparing spells like a paladin, because it doesn't make sense that they draw from the same source, yet as they draw from the same source as druids, yet also don't get to just change spells on a whim. So I would let my ranger in my group do that. Prepare like a paladin or like a cleric or druid. Like a paladin, like half your level plus your wisdom modifier is how many spells you know. Just because it doesn't make sense that they don't, and that's my biggest problem with it. I think it just underpowers rangers even more than they already are. I just, like, I guess, I don't know. I've probably made this point before. I don't think that the revised ranger is needed unless you really want to play a beastmaster. Um, really, I think unless you are dead set on playing a beastmaster, you don't really need revised ranger. I even think hunter's not that bad. It's just not very interesting. Um, but you know, like Gloomstalker, Monster Slayer, and uh, Horizon Walkers. I think they're all really cool and strong. Some maybe a bit too much. Just early levels, Horizon Walkers are kind of crazy. Just because just doing an extra D8 damage and being able to stack that with Hunter's Mark, that means your one attack is doing 2d8 plus 1d6 plus your dexterity modifier, maybe plus something else, depending on situations. If you take Sharpshooter, then that's an additional plus 10, which if you're inhuman, you can take that at first level. Your bonus is probably at least plus 7, because archery plus you probably have at least a 16 dexterity plus your proficiency bonus at first level. That's plus 7. Archery is ranged combat is too strong in this edition, I think, comparatively. Just being able to stay out of combat yet do almost as much damage as a melee fighter, that's a bit too much. But you know, it's how the game is designed. Whatever. Without any downsides. There are literally no downsides. It's not even like old editions where like you couldn't add your dexterity modifier to damage, because arguably the only way your dexterity modifier would like come in would be on your to hit roll. Like, how accurate were you? Anyway, that's a rant for another day. We're on wisdom based casters. Whew. And lastly, maybe I was stalling because I don't like that I have to explain these. Clerics. My favorite class. And also the class that I've played the most. Yeah, the most. Cleric Sorcerer multi-class that was meant to be mostly Sorcerer, but because we started at 3rd level, he was actually mostly Cleric, and we only played that session for one session. Playing a Forge Cleric right now, played a Light Cleric for a few sessions, and want to play Light Cleric again, because we stopped before we got to 5th level, so I didn't get Fireball as a Cleric, and I want Fireball as a Cleric. And, I've played more Clerics. I know I have. So, Grave Cleric, Forge Cleric, Light Cleric. Maybe I haven't. That's still a lot comparatively to, like, I've played one Wizard, one Barbarian, one Fighter for, like, a session, one Ranger for, like, a session. The only, like, long-term characters I've played have been, like, officially, like, not many. Barb, Ranger, Fighter for 2 sessions, actually. I've played two different Fighters. Sorcerer was multi-class into Sorcerer. Wizard, have been playing for like 4 levels, almost 5. I'm playing a Druid right now. So most classes. I haven't played a Bard yet, but that's just because we have so many. Bard is like the favorite class of like half the group, and then the other half of the group hates it. I didn't spill water. So yeah. Clerics. Why? Why are clerics wisdom-based casters? And that's the question, really. I don't know. I really don't. It doesn't... You could say that the gods gave us our instincts by giving us life, but what about worlds where the gods don't actually exist? Where the clerics themselves are their source of their power, why is that not charisma? I think charisma probably makes more sense anyway, because this is the gods teaching you their innate magic, so it should probably be charisma. especially since innate magic sorcerers are charisma based, or even intelligence because of your ability to memorize it. Um, really, it's the only one that I think I have a real problem with. But there's one more in the next video. I don't want to spoil which one it is. Especially because paladins are charisma based, and they are holy knights. I think clerics could easily be charisma, and nothing would really change. I think they're wisdom based casters, just because we need more wisdom based casters and we need less charisma based casters. I thought I was gonna sneeze, and I didn't. So, that's nice. I just hit my desk. This isn't my desk. Yeah, so, clerics don't really have a good reason for being wisdom based. Oh, that's fun, I love clerics, but there's no real good reason they are charisma based. Although, my second favorite class, so if you know, or if you know me, you'll know what class I was talking about with me having a problem. It's my second favorite class that I've never played, but I'm playing soon. Well, it's complicated. We have a lot of sessions that we're going to be running. I'm going to be running Call of Cthulhu at some point when we actually get around to it. I'm going to be running Pathfinder when we get around to it. And yeah, I don't actually have a D&D game ready because I've DM'd enough, and I'm too lazy to prep, and also sometimes I actually don't have time with how much other stuff I do, and sometimes I'm prepping multiple games because I am running other games, just not within the group that I play most of the time. So one of our friends, we have 2 people running a group right now. This is just, so everyone who doesn't care about me, you can stop here. This is just like anecdotal D&D stories that I like to tell. So that was wisdom-based casters. Yeah, I really don't have a reason for why clerics are wisdom-based. So if you have a good reason, place it down there. I mean, I get, again, the closest I get to is gods gave us our life, so it's innate. I don't know. Just a short thing on how I think clerics no longer follow their deities. Unlike warlocks, I would still let clerics would basically, it would be like if a wizard lost their book, where you can't gain new spells, you can't gain, unlike wizards, you can't gain new spell slots either. So to me, if a wizard loses their book, they can still gain spell slots, but they can't gain spells. To me, a cleric still gains experience. They just, once they level up, they don't get their new abilities until they start following another god. So they're stuck. They have that magic. They have all that magic known. You're stuck with what you had prepared, and you're stuck with the amount of spell slots you have until you start worshiping another god. So, I'd let them switch to something like, if they said, I start doing the fundamental concepts of nature, I'd just be like, okay, you're a druid now. And you're powerful. I'd make it like every session they'd get another level into druid. So like after that might even be a bit long, like every session, but I've never done it. I'll figure that out once that happens, if that ever happens. But yeah, so that's the base casters. Now onto my actual game. So running 2, or we're having 2 in one of my groups. Although 2, technically there's 2 going in both groups. One is run, I don't know if anyone cares about their names being out. I'll only use first names. One of them is Chris. I've used his name before, so it doesn't matter anyway. He's running a pretty hard game. That's why I'm playing my 4th cleric. We just got 7th level. Haven't used my 7th level spell slot yet because I was trying to conserve. I took banishment because... Actually, it wasn't because I heard something about demons. I kept banishment because I heard something about demons. Or devils. I took banishment in the first place and said, okay, keeping this. And Wall of Fire, which is always nice. And then I'm playing a necromancer in a game run by a guy named Michael, who's also in the group, who's Goliath Necromancer. I probably told this story, but he took healer, and actually I got to use that and be a kind of a healer. Wow. And then we just ran our friend Kyle's. He's a sleep miser. And we ran a session of it. I just sighed because I was thinking. In the first session, we encountered two gods, which, yeah, we discussed with him like, okay, we're first level. Let's rein that in a bit. Like there's high fantasy, and then there's that. I mean, he's not a bad DM. Like, again, he's still probably the I don't know. He's a good DM still. He's not our group's worst DM. But I mean, not even close to our group's worst DM. I'd probably either put him at lowest fourth, but probably second, maybe first, second. I confidently put him at least second. Not at least second. I put him at second. Like, he's decent. He runs it. I mean, not to say that our third and fourth place aren't good. Placements for DMs are arbitrary. None of it matters. As long as everyone's having fun, that's all that matters. And everyone was having fun. I think. I was having fun. Did I already tell this story? I got to lie about... Oh, yeah, I did. The night. And I lied because Druid with 14 Wisdom and Proficiency in Deception is always fun. But yeah, you know, that was fun. Spore Druid. That's going to be fun to do. 2 Necromancers, just in case one of them dies. Well, originally he was going to be the character I played if Orlo, my Necromancer, died, because I wanted to play Necromancer, but now that I have 2 running, as long as both of them don't die, and if both of them don't die, then I'm just giving up on playing a Necromancer for a while. I will. But yeah, you know, that's always fun. And yeah. Oh yeah, the 4th game. Bailey, I finally get to play a Warlock. a Bard. He's a Bard. He's a Bard. He's a human, but he looks like a tiefling, and it's fun. So yeah, I probably already told that. But yeah, so wisdom-based casters. That's the explanation of wisdom-based casters. Druids get the power from nature, and wisdom is the stat for your instinctual powers. Rangers, very similar reason, but you could also say from the non-magical standpoint, it is your innate knowledge of how to support or heal or be perceptive and target in on your targets. And clerics have no good damn reason. Yeah, so there you go. Maybe that the gods gave it some explanation. And I think this video is less than 20 minutes long. It's less than 20 minutes long, so I can stop now. Well, I should have stopped a while ago. Anyway, this was dumb. This was a stupid bit, and I'm sorry. You couldn't read it, yeah? Yeah. That's a dumb bit. That's gonna get me in trouble later. Who cares? Goodbye.